Excuse me, but I must stay focused on my work. The wards that defend this place have been damaged. Matron Motosia demanded I recover an ancient ritual to aid in repairing them, which is of course buried in one of these tomes, already damaged. When the Uglinbog fetch was stolen, the circle was broken along with the spell that protects this place. Perform the ritual to restore the circle. And I can do? Need to speak to the matron. You'll need to speak with the matron. Now I must return to my work. Actually, I wish I'd took a moment there. I'm just curious to see how much did my damage go up by there? It's always nice seeing, you know. Well, you have a quest for me.
I can smell the questions upon you.
You! Rugia points a finger in your direction, despite clearly being blind. You and I must weave a tapestry of change upon this day. Okay, fine. Lay on the crazy. Your mockery matters not. This strand started long. Wait, you can do this on normal? I thought that maybe the reward is only on ultimate. Maybe like of an extra skill point. Maybe it's only on ultimate. Then again, I swear the description was different. Whatever. Whatever. Your mockery? No. Your mockery matters not. This strand was started long ago. The time has come for it to end. Within the Iron City, the flesh vaults are teeming with uncertainties. Within them, another you beckons. There you must go. Find this other and make yourself whole. How do you know this? Your arrival sent ripples through the strands. Fates cascaded upon the shores of the everlasting dream. That moment I felt a presence that was like you, and yet not. I delved deeper into the weave until I discovered this anomaly. The question remains, now that you know, do you dare to meet your other? I'll seek it out.
I can smell the questions upon you.
The spirit touch returns, and yet the stars speak of unresolved events. Why are you here and not there? I'm going to regret this, but I have questions. Words are spoken, but yet they carry no meaning. We are all lost in a great darkness that will consume all. What do you hope to glean? Why do you speak this way? The many-eyed fiend robbed me of sight, but he has granted me vision. Now I see all, feel all, dream all. Great, now I have more questions. The history of the coffin. Question, but what, Rugi's blank eyes stare through you. A question, but what does it truly ask? We are as one, nothing less. Where before we were many, but not as one. The rune signed, pursued. We are as one, nothing less. Where before we were many, but not as one. The rune sign pursued, but not here, never here. For here dwells death. Nothing more to be said. Basically, once they were separate, you know, like, once they weren't a coven, once they weren't united, and the runes signed, that's the Inquisition. They pursued them, but they never go into the swamp. Swamp is too fucked up for even the Inquisitors to delve into. So, that's she's just saying what everyone else has said, but being more cryptic. I just come to join the coven. One of the first I was, young and full of spite. My sisters are all gone, whisked away by outer dreams. I see. I was just curious if that had changed.
The outsider returns, though perhaps not an outsider for long. Tell me, are you prepared to aid us at this most critical moment?
How can I help?
Everything is in place to perform the ritual which will reactivate our wards and seal off the refuge from malevolent forces. However, this is no rudimentary spell. It will take every fiber of my being to maintain concentration. The raw eldritch energies flowing through the circle will destabilize the area, possibly causing anomalies to form. As you now have experience dealing with wraiths and other threats of Utenborg, I think it is fitting that you see to my protection. Will you help me? When you are prepared, place your hands upon the fetish at the center of the ritual, and we shall begin.
I will protect you. So it's basically like the Necromancer quest all over again. The Utenborg fetish now adorns the top of this ritual site. Malthosia is awaiting your word before the spell has begun. Okay, random plants are angry at us. Great. And the guards apparently don't give a shit. I was figuring they'd still help out. Do you perform this ritual more often? They're bringing loot to me. Mudrock Defender. Ooh. Cursor was glitching out there. Stone Basilisk. Ah, I was puzzled about these. There's only 3 rather than 4. I guess they use up a Stone Basilisk each time they do the ritual. Then again, maybe this one is still here and I just can't see it under all the bodies.
Praise the 3. The ritual was a success. Forgive me for treating you so harshly at first. I prefer a healthy measure of skepticism of those who wander into our refuge. Please, take this as a small token of our thanks.
Do you have something that comes in Shaman? 11 to 22 vitality damage, 46 physique, 225 health, 58 cold resistance, 46 vitality resistance, 5% to maximum cold and vitality, and 1 to Necromancer skills. Oh, if only. Defy Death. Deny Death's advances when its call is strongest. When you drop below 25% health, it's on a 70-second cooldown for 5-second duration. You get 30% health plus 1,000, 100% vitality resistance, and 100% resistance to life reduction. It's like a different take on the belt I have. Instead, it doesn't increase my regen, but it does offer. It offers me a more potent heal and resistances, while the belt gives me regen and boosts my regen as it sounds. To be honest, the regen I have is probably pretty potent. I'll have to look that up. 34,000 XP, 2,000 Coven Rep, and an Empowered Death Ward. A charm once worn to ward off evil spirits. Questions? Yeah, they did lose the statue. So I guess they had 4 to start off with, and since they had to redo this, they lost one. How did you come to be matron? Fair question. I'm not the oldest here and certainly not the wisest. Matron Agalia was my predecessor, a wizened old crone who was here nearly as long as Rugia. She oversaw our transition from a power-seeking gathering for the most powerful witches to a safe haven for all of her kind. Galia was also the architect of the ritual that now protects this place. All of us here owe our survival to her wisdom. I was her people, and also her means of communing with those outside the refuge. My ability to reach out across the Aether and confer a message to our future sisters proved instrumental in growing our numbers. Oftentimes the new arrivals would look to me as their savior, which, while not entirely true, offered them a measure of comfort. When Rugia was on her deathbed, she elected me to be her successor. There were no objections. Certainly, given that all the newer ones would see her as their savior and have a high regard for her, that probably helped. She was building a bit of a fan base there, whether she realized it or not. What's next for the Coven? We shall continue to grow our community here and invite all the mistreated and lost sisters roaming the ravaged world. We'll nurture their powers and ensure they handle them safely, more than the fallen Empire ever did. What about those threatening our world? We've already lost, that much is clear to me. Now we must look after our own. Protect those we can instead of throwing our lives away for a fool's hope. So we just hide here while the rest of us die? What would you have me do? Many here are either too young or to fight or too old. Would you have me send the blind seer into battle alongside the remnants of your legion? It's my responsibility to care for the well-being of my people. I am fully intent to keep them alive. Fair enough. What about the Wendigo? With the cult within Barrowholm exterminated by your hand, we can only hope that Ravager's power will wane with time, but I don't think we can count ourselves fortunate enough to see the fiend destroyed for good. For now, all we can do is hope the wards hold, and the Wendigo spirit does not return to these parts. How does it work exactly? The exact properties of it were known only to its creator, former matron Agalia. May her soul find rest. While it does not keep out physical threats, it does distress beasts and forces most of them to flee. It also acts as a barrier against malevolent spirits, a much too common threat in this region. While what its effects will be on an ethereal, that I do not know. Suppose we'll find out should they ever find their way here. We should have staunched that flow, though that's not to say none will ever just randomly turn up. There is a portal like right outside.
Welcome back. I hope the strands of fate treat you kindly.
She says she engages in healthy skepticism. It feels a little, indulgent from where I'm standing. Going a bit beyond healthy.
I would like to thank you on behalf of all of us here at the refuge. You have done us a great service in restoring the wards.
Questions? History. Decades ago, the Covenant was not nearly as inviting. It was a pact of witches dedicated to furthering their craft, performing rituals that bent the laws of reality, and reached the gates of the Eldritch realm itself. Pursued relentlessly by Luminari, the Covenant sought safety within the forbidden places of the world, which led them to Ugdenbog. The thirst for power eventually brought them to discover the location of the altar Ratosh, where they were able to descend beyond rudimentary rituals, but also drew the ire of the tree. When foolishly reached into for the realm of the gods, the Covenant was punished and their leaders burnt alive with eldritch fire. The rest swore off use of the altar entirely, for fear of further retribution. In stark contrast to its origins, Coven became more open to who it invited into its fold, began to reach out to other witches, the struggle to survive under the Empire's heel. Our numbers grew, and in numbers we found safety. Just try speaking to Rugia about this matter. She's the only one left among us who was alive during that time, though she may not be very open to the subject. The tree? Yes, the tree witch gods, Bazamel, Drieg, and Soel. They are the master of the Eldritch realm, the source of power for most witches, including myself. Some here even find solace in their worship, though I cannot say what comfort such worship brings. Why do you think the altar was built here? Perhaps because the veil between the living and the dead is thinner here. Why that is, I cannot tell you. Perhaps a violent ritual once took place here that birthed something into this world. Whatever the cause, such locations such as this are not too common, so there must be a correlation. Why is it so treacherous? The harsh land environment breeds tough beasts capable of withstanding it. That is nature, though perhaps not all that has transpired within this bog is entirely natural. The altar is Ratosh is a testament to Zero's darker past. How did you come to join it? When I was a young girl, I lived with my family in the capital city of Urlon. We led a simple life there, far from the scheming and machinations of the Emperor's court, but it will not last. When I turned 11, my powers began manifesting themselves in unexpected and unnatural ways. Planets near me would begin to grow rapidly, then decay just as quickly. Random objects would burst into flame. I had no control over these displays, nor was I even sure they were my doing. My mother told us that our home had become possessed and called in a priest. But the temple did not send a priest, they sent an inquisitor. As soon as the woman entered our doorstep, I could feel the hairs on the back of my neck rising, and my heart began to beat at an alarming pace. I'll never forget that feeling. For reasons I could not even fathom, I was suddenly terrified out of my mind. The inquisitor did not wait to be invited inside. Instead, she shoved my mother aside and investigated every inch of her home. At last she came into my room. Her eyes pierced into mine, and at that moment I knew she'd come for me. What happened next? There was no hesitation, no mercy. When she unclasped the chains on her belt and reached for my hands, the runes carved into the chains glowed brightly as they neared my flesh. I cowered in the corner, tears flowing freely, but the Inquisitor had no remorse. She grasped my hands free, and fixed the chains around my slim wrists. The runes burnt where they touched my flesh. I still have the scars. My mother burst into the room screaming for her to let me go. But again, the Inquisitor would hear nothing on the matter. My mother refused to let her pass. She activated yet another rune and paralyzed my mother where she stood. That was the last time I ever saw her. When we arrived at the Inquisitor's carriage, she put a bag over my head and wrapped it tightly, such that I could barely breathe. Unlike the runes burning my skin, her hands were as cold as ice. I do not know where I was taken. It was a prison beyond the walls of Urlon. You would think that this was where my story should have ended, but it was not. It was not to be. When the guards took pity on me, he could not understand how someone so young could be taken, who could be so much of a threat, that she'd be locked up within that forsaken place. He helped me escape in a delivery wagon headed south. Unfortunately, no solace awaited me beyond that journey. I was forced to become a street urchin, begging for or stealing food scraps wherever I could, as I wandered from town to town, hitching rides with travellers whenever my powers would manifest, and I was forced to flee. Eventually I came upon an old crone named Rugia, who sensed the untamed potential within me. She took me in, and together we travelled here. The refuge has been my home ever since. I guess Rugia must have... I'm sorry, I had to suffer. I guess Rugia must have travelled a fair bit. Recruiting people, I guess. Maybe, or maybe not necessarily with the intent of recruiting, but she must have travelled a bit in her, while part of the Calvin. The lady up there doesn't look nearly as old as Rugia. Then again, maybe she's, didn't they make references to, making themselves look younger before? Actually, I wonder if these are carved statues or petrified basilisks. It'd be ironic if it was a petrified one, given how basilisks in normal fiction are petrifiers. But anyway, I thought this was legendary or ultimate only. Did not realize it was on all difficulties. I guess the reward of an extra skill point was ultimate only. But yeah, I guess Rugia must have travelled at some stage. I doubt she's as old as Rugia is, because they all make, from what they've already said about Rugia being the oldest member here and all this, Rugia must have, travelled a bit. She just, blind sage doesn't sound like much of a traveller, but I guess she did. Wonder where they met up, but, no. Like, did they meet up in Burwich, or, over on the other side of the lake? Maybe they met up in Malmouth. Well, I wonder. But, yeah. But yeah, basically what I was getting at, Rugia must have travelled a bit after, she lost her sight and all that. Because there's no way that lady there is, nearly as old as her. Or been around since the Coven was, decimated. So, yeah, that's what basically was getting at. I kind of had the image in my head that Rugia joined the Coven and never left. Just being there, But there's, since she was apparently the one who recruited that lady, she must have travelled and brought her, left the Coven grounds and gone back to them. So, yeah. Thanks to you, the circles are restored, and our refuge is afforded some security once again. I did what I could. Some spectacle watching you battle those manifestations during the ritual. Glad you stepped in to help. When a ritual needs researching or self-repairing, you can call for Andros. When you need to hit something with the sharp end of a stick, I suppose we've got you. Snarky as ever. Oh, this ramp up as well. Don't recognize the name of the chick that, from the chest. She was gonna try and do what they did before, reaching into the Eldritch realm and all that. So So, Drown Hill. I want to do the other U quest. Thought I smelled smoke for a second there. And I'm glad I'm doing it now that I'm after burrowing my character up a bit. No, it'll be a right proper fight now rather than how it went the other time. Let's go out this way, it's actually the quicker path. There's an attendant just stuck on a bit of debris there. Okay, I'm still guaranteed. Or at least did that anyway. Probably around the same for everyone here. Potentially. Okay, the NPCs here that were here fighting with me, I completely overestimated them. Also, I also chose the wrong path. I thought this was a quicker way to where I wanted to go, but it wasn't. In games, I typically like helping NPCs out when, you know, when I can. I know it feels wrong to just ignore them. It's just been how I've always been. And it's never really been proved a nuisance, so I've just kind of keep doing it. I think he managed to jib himself by hitting me. You know, that's pretty impressive. Oh, I tried to kill you so hard, I killed myself. Wish I could have just hit like Z and auto loot. Dungeon Siege. That's a beautiful option. Dungeon Siege too, that was the thing you could do. Just hit Z and just auto loot everything. Tried to save him, ends up dying to the creature's explosion. Could just run into the place, but this is a bit more XP, a bit more gubbins. It's all good. But yeah, I did not think this was going to be a quest I could do this time around. I thought it was going to be ultimate only. I'm a lot happier then of, you know, having a different character. Because I really wanted to see, I know, basically I had my heart set on Durin in here doing the quest. But, now he can. I just knew that it was a thing, rather than, and it had a particular reward on ultimate, rather than anything else. I ended up thinking it was ultimate only. Because, you know, there's some ultimate only quests, I assumed this was just yet another one. Wonder what, how my shot against the Fleshbinder would be, or Master of Flesh would be now, if I took him on. Now that I've buffed myself up a bit. Made myself a bit more defensive, a bit more burly. I don't know, I'd have a better time against him. And I didn't have too bad of a shot the first time round. So many iron bits. You would swear it was the actual currency they had before everything happened. killed an enemy hero. Noxidred. Another enemy hero. Someone's enjoying themselves. Or not. Well, I'm sure someone's enjoying themselves, not necessarily that person. Red Skull. I'm just ignoring most of the gear here because it's probably just vendor trash. Encountering very few bits that I actually want to upgrade to. Transport, 15% chance when hit to get healed and bonus regen. Well, actually, what is my regen like? Okay, it's here. 179.13 health per second. Nice. Okay, let's make sure everyone's going fine. Okay, you can hear me. I am recording. You can hear me. You could hear the game, and you have footage. All is good. It's just if this goes wrong, you won't get to see this again till I try and replay the game on Epic, or not Epic. The next difficulty, next step up. Now, finally hated with the Ethereal Vanguard. Just had to, you know, massacre their forces a few times over. They're weirdly slow in hating people. They're trying their whole Mahatma Gandhi thing. Allostria.
So precious few moments in your brief lives, and you spend yours chasing after me. I would be flattered if you weren't so pathetic. But you have my curiosity. Tell me, what is my former vessel doing here, in the heart of the enemy?
Okay, gotta be honest, her dialogue is oddly low. Out of everyone, it's very low. Why are you doing this?
It's not like a sheep to question its own slaughter. You are but flesh for us to harvest. We have simply returned to take back what is rightfully ours.
Yeah, it's terrible audio bounce here. Why me?
Did you think you were special? That you had some purpose to fulfill, some glorious destiny? You were just another weak-minded vessel I made use of as I scoured Devil's Crossing for survivors to harvest. Who knows? You might have served me still, if not for that accursed witch. Really, though, I should consider it a mercy, as I found your mind particularly unpleasant to inhabit. You think yourself the savior of Devil's Crossing? Hardly. By my hand, you became the harbinger of their doom.
Oh? Because they look pretty good right now, minus the few dead. I don't care what you say, Devil Crossing will not fall to you.
And I suppose you, an abandoned vessel, will stop us? Don't make me laugh. I grow tired of these questions. Despite your insignificance, you've managed to be a thorn in our side for too long. And now you've saved me the trouble of finding you.
Many of your kind have already fallen to me.
Well, it's true that you've managed to disrupt our efforts in Burridge.
And here.
The Black Legion for a ruthless slaughter. You merely delay the final straw. Nothing you've done, no ethereal you think you've killed will save humanity from its fate. We are infinite, and the old gods that subjugated us have gone from this world. None remain who can oppose us, and those of your kind who do not accept this reality will perish without exception.
You may be infinite, but so is my pleasure in killing your kind. Allostria, the Mind Thief. Nice. Oh, it is, baby. It is. For I am the protagonist. Hail to the king, baby. 34,000 XP and an Imperial mutagen. Supreme spoils. By our decree, you are to travel to Malmouth. Malmouth. I say Malmouth, but I've heard characters say like Malmouth, like they're saying Mammoth. It's odd. Expend any resource you require to make the long journey. In utmost haste. Once you've arrived, you are to ascertain the progress that has been made under the rule of the Shaper Flesh. Reason to believe that his recent actions have diverged from the consensus and are now threatening our grand vision. Let me start again. By our decree, you are to travel to Malmouth. Expend any resource you require to make the long journey in utmost haste. Once you've arrived, you are to ascertain the progress that has been made under the rule of the Shaper of Flesh. Reason to believe that his recent actions have now diverged from the consensus and now threaten our grand vision. If what we suspect is true, then you are to proceed immediately in returning the Shaper of Flesh If what we suspect is true, then you are to proceed immediately in returning the Shaper to Urlon, and taking his place as the heart of the operations in Malmouth. If, however, we have erred in our suspicions, then report on this miscalculation immediately, and ensure that the consensus proceeds as ordained. With their eye falling upon us, we must be swift in our actions. No piece of the puzzle must be allowed to contort itself to its own whims. We will not be jeopardized when victory is so close at hand. Adjutant Orin Vostra, Fort of the Circle of Five. So it was cool to run into Ethereal. I was kind of expecting more of a grand fight. Kind of went down like a bit of a... I can't think of a good phrase. That's just how terribly they went down. But yeah, it was cool to get to beat the snot out of him. Ah, I'm awesome. So, can I say unto ye, this quest, I want to say, would provoke some conversations.
Don't make me regret this, human.
Aren't you meant to be hiding this? Oh, as long as we've been forward with each other, why did you betray the Ethereals? There are many voices in the Aetherhold, and those of us who joined in the invasion of Karn are but one faction. I may have betrayed the invading force, but I will not say I've betrayed all Ethereals. The greatest of our kind existed on a timescale beyond human comprehension, and likely are not even aware of what transpired in these last few years. I think many voices in the Aetherhold would dissent with this invasion to could witness the reality of what has come to pass. Indeed, things occur so quickly in this material existence, it's been difficult to control and cope with the unfolding of events. The unique character, powerful motions, and drives of our human hosts have been an unexpected challenge, and your kind has deeply affected all of those Ethereals who came here. Some for the worst, some I hope for the better. I was eager to join those leading the invasion, and I still do believe that we Ethereals deserve an opportunity to exist outside the barren confines of the Aetherhold. However, I felt what is to be human, to live and feel, to love and experience loss. I'm fortunate that in my own host, Corinna was of noble spirit and opened my mind to many new possibilities. We've reached an amenable equilibrium that made us both better than our individual selves. Ah, okay. So they're kind of working in union, which is makes her comment about her it was probably just a joke, but how the whole being an outright ethereal wouldn't wouldn't help her chances of romance. I was just thinking, isn't it a bit unethical and weird to have sex in someone else's body? But apparently it's just a threesome, just with two people. Okay, fair enough. You know, Corinna, the human, is behind that as well, apparently. We quickly defected from the leadership of the invasion and forged our own path on the side of humanity. We don't oppose all ethereal kind, but come to see that this invasion is ill-conceived. Many of those who led it have paired with the worst of humankind, and conversely, Corinna and I have forged a partnership which is ultimately depraved and evil. If the greater heroes of Vader hold witness to this corruption, I feel they will take action to expunge it. You seem different from hysteria. You mean I'm not such a serious bitch all the time? I suppose I found the emotions of joy and pleasure more fascinating. I'm particularly fond of the one you call sarcasm, which this host used to in excess. You humans managed to all be different. Why should all ethereals be the same? What about human you possess? What about her? She suffered enough injuries during the Grim Dawn. She would have been as good as dead without me. You're insinuating that I abandoned this house, then I'll kindly tell you to shove it. You don't have the ability to interact with the physical world. You don't regain the ability to interact with the physical world, then just give that up. How did you come to possess her? She was a loner, not really fitting in with the rest of her troop. Most humans don't seem too fond of arcanists. I was summoned here by the Master of Flesh prior to the Grim Dawn, in order to infiltrate the Mammoth Guard. Grinna made an easy target. I was somebody who understood her, who could offer her more than she ever imagined. As it turned out, we had more to offer each other than I thought. She opened my eyes to the world of emotions, of humanity. I could not turn on such intriguing creatures after what I experienced. When the Grim Dawn started, I stood beside the humans. My own masters be damned. Fascinating.
Mammoth is a great victory for mankind. A symbol that we will not simply lie down and be conquered.
She's an ethereal.
Yes, and Allostria informed me of this. This development confounds me as I cannot possibly know its long-term implications. Are they truly our allies? Or is this an alliance of convenience? Or perhaps something else entirely?
They've been helpful so far.
One horror down, gods know how many.
She's an ethereal.
Another snake in our nest, eh? I'm not quite convinced they're on our side. Or on anyone's side but their own, for that matter. But do not worry. At the first sign of betrayal, they will both be met with a silent blade.
Good. Can't take chances. I think they're both on the level, but you never can be sure, given the, their history and all that. I don't know. Being trapped in a barren spiritual void sounds like it'll mess with your head, you know? They seem to be on the level, but who knows? Something could snap one day. So it's handy having a fucking demigod here.
Incredible. Simply incredible. You went into the maw of the beast and emerged victorious.
Oh, I thought she was keeping this a secret, but she seems to be out loud and proud now. Did you know about Corinna?
I don't know how to feel about this. She's the enemy, but she's never given us a reason to doubt her. Not for a moment. If not for her, many of us here would have died. What sort of ethereal does this? I need to think about all this.
I don't know. But she's not the first.
So there are others like her. Is this some kind of game to them? Playing the long con? I don't know what to believe anymore or who.
Who missed? Something about them seems different.
Whatever it is, the entire situation has me unsettled. We must be vigilant. Our enemies may even stand among us.
I think we can trust them. I'm giving a few different answers, but that's because of a complex answer, view on the situation. I don't know, my character's just fucking with everyone. So, anyone else have anything to say? So wondering if anything changed. It didn't seem likely, but it was just like, I was just curious. Because, yeah, she doesn't even acknowledge that, I did get them to piss off. Cabin's refuge. So the Ethereal Force has been sent back to the Aether, but still alive. So in Grim Dawn 2, I might get a chance to slap them around again. Woohoo! Wonder what they was. They just trash talking when they said, "Hey, the wards have been restored. Well done." Were they just trash talking when they said our mine was particularly annoying to be in, or was there something to that?